Okay, so a feeling, like we know, is temporary. It is not permanent. A feeling, an emotion is energy in motion. It is temporary. It is not permanent. Okay? So now that we've discussed what a feeling is, reminders, how temporary it is, how to allow the feeling to pass, how to respond instead of react. Now let's talk about compassion, right? What is compassion? Let me look it up, just so that we have like a definition. So, compassion is the deep, deep, deep awareness of the suffering of others and also the desire to relieve it with helpful behavior. It's usually used interchangeably with empathy. However, these are both different psychological processes. Empathy is the ability to understand and vicariously share the emotional experience of another person, while compassion is the action oriented response that arises after observing or empathizing with suffering. So, compassion, number one, you have to notice the experience of others. Number two is feeling connected to someone else's situation, that you feel that same emotion, but you're not overwhelmed by it. You're not running from it or by it. You're not overwhelmed, but you're still feeling like what it is that they're feeling at a certain level. And then action is how you act towards it. I always think of this story that I was told in Vipassana about compassion, and basically the story is about this serial killer. He was a serial killer. He killed like 90 people. And then he discovered Vipassana. And then he started meditating and discovering Vipassana. And he realized just how wrong it is to kill people and to be a serial killer. And he stopped. And he completely changed his life. He became a completely different person. And years had gone by, like a decade had gone by or something. He still really, really hurt people. And the families of those people that were killed were still alive. And one day he went back to the town, or some town. He went back to a town, and everyone was like, oh, this is the person who killed my cousin. This is the person that killed my father. This is the person that killed my brother. And everyone was so, so mad at him and chased him out of the town, because they were so angry. Even though a decade had passed, and they don't know this person anymore. They just know that this is the same person that killed all these people. And the serial killer, who is now a reformed and had not killed someone in so many years, and now is meditating and helping people, and he obviously understood why everyone was so mad at him. And at the same time, he was like, I am not that person. I'm not that person that killed all those people. I'm a different person. I'm not the same person. But instead of being angry that people still held that against him, he had that compassion. He was like, wow, these people are suffering. These people are so sad and upset with the grief of the loss that a past version of me had done. In the past, I had hurt these people in this way, and they are still so upset and angry. Wow. How sad. They don't know. They don't know that the person that they're angry with no longer exists. They don't know. And I can't tell them how awful, how much misery they must be in. He just had a lot of compassion for them. He didn't try to force them to see him differently, that he didn't try to prove that he was different. He just had that compassion and just left it at that. And I just keep thinking about that story often, because it feels like that's really what compassion is. And I just summarized the story, and maybe it doesn't do much for you, but for me, it just really summarizes for me like what real compassion is. There was other stories of like people being mad at certain teachers because of this thing or that thing, and the teachers themselves like, like even Jesus. Editing Flora here. I just need y'all to know I'm not Christian. I'm talking about Jesus as a historical figure, okay? Because he was a real man. And even if you don't believe that he was real or you don't believe in what he's done, like, just take it as a story then. I'm not Christian. I don't ascribe to that stuff. That's a whole separate video, but I'm using it as an example. Jesus was crucified. Jesus was crucified by people. So many people came to watch and throw things at him, and people were beating him. Like, he was crucified by his people, his own people, that he did nothing but love and help. He was betrayed by his own disciple, who he did nothing but love and help. He was betrayed and then he was crucified. And yet his dying words on the cross that he was nailed up on, his dying words were, "Forgive them, for they know not what they are doing." Forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Forgive them for their ignorance. Those were his dying words. And that's what really, that's how I understand compassion. So if you really have compassion for someone, for a person or a situation, there's no anger there. You can't have anger there. And anger, first of all, is a secondary emotion. Anger comes from hurt. Anger comes from pain. Anger comes from sadness. Anger comes from grief. Anger comes from all these other emotions. But anger in itself is a secondary emotion as a result from the first emotion. So anger, you can't have anger and compassion together. You might be very angry that somebody did something to you because in your head you're replaying what they did to you, and that's re-triggering you and making you angry all over again. But if you're angry, there's no compassion there. And if you're compassionate and you have compassion, you're feeling compassion, then there's no anger there. You can't feel them both at the same time. Maybe you can go in between them because, again, feelings are not permanent. Maybe you can go in anger, come out, go in compassion, come out, go in here, go in there. But if you're truly, truly, truly compassionate, then your anger should lessen and lessen and lessen. If you're really feeling compassion in the present moment, there's no anger there. And if you're feeling true, deep compassion and deep awareness, then there's no anger there. Then the anger should be very little. Even if the anger comes back because you re-trigger yourself again by thinking, oh, look what they said to me. You remember what they said to you. Remember the face that they made when they said that thing to you. You remember the tone that they had when they said that thing to you. And your memory is being distorted because the Bhagavad Gita tells us that anger distorts memory. Anger distorts memory. Anger is very dangerous, by the way. It's poison. Anger is poison. It's fire. Every time you get angry, you're welcoming in poison. You're drinking poison. You're welcoming in fire into your body. So it's about moving from that place, moving from the anger, allowing the emotion to move. Because again, emotions only last 90 seconds. If you're angry for more than 90 seconds, then that's on you, boo. I'm sorry, but it's about moving from that place. Do something to get the anger out. If it's in your jaw, because a lot of people who have anger that's not expressed and it stays in your jaw, you can bite down. Bite down on a towel, bite down on a blanket, bite down on anything at the back of your molars. Bite down. Bite down and release that tension, release that anger from your jaw. You can try to move a wall, like put your hands on a wall and push into the wall, push into it as if you're trying to move the wall. You can break it, you can do whatever you want to release that anger, but go release it. Let it out because it's poison. It's poisoning you the longer it stays inside you. It needs to move. And if you have true compassion for someone, true compassion for a situation, then perhaps it's possible for you to re-trigger yourself into anger, but that anger should be less and less and less as the days go on. Otherwise, you're losing your compassion. They can't coexist. They don't speak the same language. They don't speak the same language. They're not speaking to each other. They're not in relationship with each other. They cannot coexist. So don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself and say, I'm really compassionate for this person in this situation. Because it's really easy. It's easy to say, I'm so empathetic. I'm so compassionate. It's really, really easy to say something. And again, feelings have no inherent meaning or importance or purpose. We're the ones that give them meaning and importance. So if we tell ourselves, I'm compassionate, I'm empathetic, but you're still feeling angry, you're still angry, but you're telling yourself that you're compassionate and empathetic, you're lying. You're lying to yourself. And you will believe that lie. You will believe that lie because you're the one that's telling that lie to yourself. So you will believe the lie. And the more you lie to yourself about your emotions and your feelings, the more you lie to yourself, the more confused you will be up here. It will get very confusing for you and you'll start mixing up all these feelings, mixing up all these things. Oh, my anger is righteous. Oh, I need to be angry. I need to be angry. It's deserved. This person deserves my anger. It's necessary. You start lying to yourself. It's very easy to lie to yourself. Oh, this person did this on purpose. This person is making me feel angry. It's a lie. Nobody can make you feel anything. This person is making me feel insecure. Nobody can make you feel insecure. You are the one that's feeling insecure. Nobody can make you feel insecure. That comes from you. This person's making me look bad. This person's doing this, doing that intentionally. You start lying to yourself. Once you start mixing up these emotions and these feelings, you start mixing them up in your head. You're not thinking straight. It becomes very, very easy to mix everything up. And then maybe you're thinking that you're in touch with your feelings. You're thinking that you're in touch with your emotions, but it's a lie. It's a lie because you mix it all up in your head. Anger distorts memory. Anger distorts a lot of things. It distorts a lot of things, which is why it's important to move from emotions. The emotions itself are not that important. What matters is how you move through them. You think you understand yourself, you think you're connected to yourself. No. You're not. You get mixed up. You start thinking that this person needs to feel my wrath. This person needs to feel how angry I am. You start putting it on other people. It's this person's fault. This person's doing this. This person's not being good to me. This person's cheating. No. You start externalizing it. It doesn't help anyone because then you go and you tell somebody, how dare you say this to me? When what you really mean to say is, hey, I miss you. Hey, I miss you. Hey, that thing that you said hurt my feelings. And I feel like it has more to do with you and what you're experiencing than me and not really about something that I'm saying or what I'm going through. Are you okay? Because the truth is, most of the time, When other people come to us and they give us their emotions on a plate, it says more about them than it does about us. When people treat us in a certain way, like Jesus, when people treat us in a certain way, it says more about them and not about, they crucified Jesus. They didn't crucify Jesus because he deserved it. They crucified Jesus because they couldn't see him for who he actually was, which was a healer, right? They couldn't actually see him, so he crucified him. It has nothing to do with him. Jesus knew that. That's why he said, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing. So most of the time when other people are treating us in any way, it's about them. If someone forgets to consider you, it's because they're going through a lot. Or they're going through this. That doesn't mean you stay in certain relationships that are not good for you or treating you poorly. No, that's not what it means. But most of the time when people are just projecting their inside outwards because they don't know how to deal with it on the inside there, so they're projecting it outwards. So most of the time things are not personal. Things actually have nothing to do with us. They're not personal at all. But our ego gets hurt. Our ego gets hurt and says it's about me when it's not. Our ego gets offended. Our ego gets defensive. So real compassion is understanding all of this. Which is why you can't have compassion and anger. Because if you're angry with something, when that's just what it is, and you're stuck in that anger, you're not actually having compassion for the situation or the person or whatever.